All right, guys, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of the Shadow Mark podcast. Really excited to be here tonight. I am Derek Thompson. With me, as always, is Mr. TJ Davidson.
What up?
And we are very excited to welcome on today the DadBod Vet himself, John. So we'll let him go ahead and introduce himself and how he wants to, and we'll just start typing into conversation.
The DadBod veteran, yes, with his real voice. I know that everybody thinks that I talk like that all the time, but I don't. So this is me, the DadBod veteran. How's everybody doing? Glad to be here. Glad to be here with these two awesome guys, and let's just have some fun, man. This is gonna be a good time.
That's what I like to hear, man. We're excited about it. So we know you're a veteran,
Yeah,
obviously, and you live in what your beautiful hat says. It looks like South Carolina.
yeah, South Kakalaki. That's me, a local boy.
The
So,
cat.
so you've got them
The
southern
southern
roots.
cat.
Yeah, man. I mean, we got a little bit of draw if we need it. I mean, we can do that too. Just all depends on the scenario and the people.
Yeah, it's like TJ. 90% of the time people can't understand him. So
I'm working on it, man. Hey, listen, I've been working on it. All right.
As long as you're not have like that Boomhauer voice, you're good to go.
No, that's the issue.
yeah, that's when he gets
Look,
when he gets real drinking. He starts talking like Boomhauer.
Oh,
everyone's like,
man.
"Slow down, banjo," and I'm like, "All right, sorry, man."
It's great, man. But
Nice.
so you were southern born, raised. I'm sure you've got kind of a good story of a like upbringing, and then you end up going in the military. So why don't you just walk us up to that and how that went for you?
I mean, we could start all the way back with birth. I mean, where do you want to go? Well,
Yeah,
let's
we
just
can start at birth. A birth's
yeah,
always
yeah.
good.
It was scary. It was really scary. All of a sudden, it was everybody. There was a lot of screaming, and it was mostly me. And then there was a light, and some guy with a pair of scissors was running towards my nuggets. It was weird. No, I was actually born in Ohio. For those of you who don't know, I'm an Ohio native. I won't claim it, but I'm actually a Southerner by raising. So in South Carolina, when my dad was an Air Force guy, so I'm an Air Force brat. Um, Grew up there, had a great time. Played football in high school, the whole 9 yards. And then there's the military part, right? So how did I get in the military? That's what we care about.
Right.
Um, well, it's kind of an interesting story, right? Everybody's got their story of how they went to the recruiter. So my dad had passed away the year before I graduated from high school. So I was kind of lost in this world when I
Right.
graduated high school. Didn't have a plan on what I was going to do when I grew up. Hopefully I wasn't going to end up dead in the gutter. That was the main idea there. Um, and so I was dating this girl, and you guys are going to like this because girls somehow get involved in almost every conversation. So I was dating this girl, and we were, having a good time. And then graduation came about, and she decided she wanted to go off and be a model.
Oh, geez.
As all women would want to do when they're blessed with attractiveness and all that stuff. And so when she did that, I was pretty busted up. I thought she was awesome, and we were gonna spend the rest of our lives together, the whole 9 yards. But that was not her plan. So I decided that I was gonna go as far away as possible, and come back as this well-rounded person. Hopefully, sweep her off her feet. Um, Lo and behold, there was a different plan, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I went to the recruiter's office, and originally I was going to join the Coast Guard, right? Because my uncle was in the Coast Guard; he was a bosun's mate. And I went to the Coast Guard recruiter, and um, I asked him. I said, "Hey, I want to join the Coast Guard. What do you got?" He said, "Yeah, we got whatever you want, man. Well, you want to be a cook? You want to be a fire controlman? What do you want to be?" I was like, "Whoa, what's that fire controlman?" And he's like, "Those are the guys that operate the ship's weapon systems, etc." I was like, "Cool, I want to do that." So he was like, "Awesome. What's up, Eric? How's it going?"
Yeah, what's
Um,
up, guys?
so that was the job I wanted, but the Coast Guard, unfortunately, because I was a Ritalin child, was not accepted into the Coast Guard because I had ADHD and all that stuff. So the Navy recruiter naturally had listened to the entire conversation in the room with us, and as we walked out, he came up to me and he says, "Hey, I heard you want to be an FC." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Would you thought about the Navy? I was like, "Dude, I'll go wherever." I mean, at this point, it was kind of whichever one grabbed me. That's where I was going. Um, and we had a conversation, and he's like, "Look, don't worry about that Ritalin situation. I got that under control." I was like, "Cool, you're the boss. I'll let you take it from there." And the next thing I know, 2 weeks later, I'm shipping off to old Great Mistakes, Illinois, where all us Squidwards go for our boot camp trials. The funny story, coming full circle with the girl part, is I had been writing letters to the girl and while I was in boot camp. She was kind of my pen pal. She wasn't actually writing any back, but I was writing a lot of letters, as we all do when we're in boot camp. And then you get your first phone call while you're in boot camp, right?
Right.
And so I decided, I'll try to call her, right? I'm going to try to call her. So I called the number that I had for her, and lo and behold, she answered, and she's crying, and she's like hysterical. She's like, oh my God. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? She was pregnant.
Oh, geez.
We got pregnant graduation night, high school graduation night. And so that's my daughter, who's now 25.
Holy cow, man.
and we were married for 12 years, and we've got 3 kids together. But that's the story of how I ruined her life, took her away from modeling, and we got married, and we had a great relationship while we'd had one, and we've got 3 awesome kids. They're all now grown now. And then, I was in the Navy there for 12 years, having my little adventure. But that's how it started, right?
Right.
That's the beginning. So already we're screwed up. I mean, we're sideways from day one.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it rough just going into that situation.
Yeah,
like, what do I do?
And I'm a whopping 18 years old, right?
Yeah.
All the responsibilities of all of a sudden being a father, being a husband, and oh, by the way, you're in the Navy, which you have no idea what's about to happen to you. And I was, like I said, my father passed away when I was 17, so I was kind of messed up. I was a pretty messed up kid at that point. So now we're in the Navy, right? So let's talk about what we did in the Navy. So I was a FC. That's a fire controlman. That is not the guy who puts out the fires. That's the guy that causes the fires, right? We press the red button. We make things go boom, and we make airplanes go away, and surface ships go away, and buildings and far off deserts go away. We do all that fun stuff. We operate all those weapon systems. So I'm an FC. I do my schooling 2 years or so. Then I get stationed on the USS George Washington, CVN 73. That's an aircraft carrier. She's based out of Norfolk. Beautiful, stunning ship. She's the best of the Navy at the time. She's not so good right now, but she's got a bad situation going on. There's been a lot of suicides on her boat.
Oh no.
She was in she's coming out of a 4-year yard period, which for carriers and nuclear vessels, they go in and they get their reactors pulled out and they get refueled, etc. Yeah. And they've had a lot of problems with that. It's rough. It's rough to go through that period. But anyway, so we're on the George Washington. This is back in 99. That was when I got stationed there. And she's coming out of the shipyards, and she's doing her thing. And when she actually comes out of the yards is after the first deployment that I went on, which was a cool deployment, great time. We did all the ports and all that stuff. And then it's about September 8th of 2001 that we pull out of the yards. And when a ship comes out of the yards, she does what's called a shake. And that's where they basically go and they run her really hard, make sure that everything stays bolted on like it's supposed to, right? That's why they call it a shake. And then we're sitting in our little work center there, and on September 11th, the morning of September 11th, and then you guys kind of know the story of what happened. All of a sudden, the TVs went off. All of our comms went dead, and the CEO came over to the 1MC, and he says, "Hey guys, we're not going home." Because normally when you do a shake, you're only out for like 4 days.
Right.
And then you come back home. Well, I only had 4 pairs of underwear because I did not plan to be there that long. But we ended up actually going up into New York Harbor. We were there probably about September 12th was about the time that we got there. And sit in the harbor and act as plane guard just in case another attack had happened.
No kidding.
There's a very famous picture, if you look it up online, of the George Washington in New York Harbor, and you can see the smoke in the background. And yeah, that was me. That was me and our crew was there. Man. Yeah. So that was probably it was a very At the time, it was a scary, scary, scary thing. I mean, it was a huge, scary thing to be there. We didn't know what was going on, right? We didn't know what was coming
Right.
next. But in hindsight, that was a big thing to be a part of. You know what I mean? I mean, very, very few of us got to be that close to that stage and really get to understand what was going on and have a feeling for, what was happening to that area when it was occurring.
The actual disaster that was
Yeah.
there,
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And I only had 4 pairs of underwear.
That's probably the worst thing in that situation is only having 4 pairs of underwear because you
Yeah.
can only flip them inside out once.
Well, that's when I learned that you can do it
twice.
You've got like 6 different ways you can do it, right? So
Really?
you got normal, you got backwards, right? Then you got inside out, you got the right side out. Then you have left and right.
Didn't think about
I mean,
that. Yeah.
and well, think about it like this too. You can do each one of those twice.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
that's
So
12 days for one pair, right?
exactly. So this is what I learned. And now if I go on any trips, I pack like I'm going to be there for a month. I mean, literally, I am the most overpacked person anywhere I go. I'm ready for, whatever. And it's all because of that.
Yeah, I can't imagine the skid marks, honestly.
Yeah, and I wasn't the only one, right? I mean, there was other guys that were like, I can make it on 2,
Really?
for that 4 days. Yeah. Because when you come out of the shipyards, there's nothing there. The boat's empty. There's
It's just adapt and overcome.
It's just a big floating, shell at that point. There's no ammo on it. There's no fuel on it. It's just really run it through its courses and make sure it stays together. So, yeah,
it's quite literally a shakedown of just.
It is a shake.
Let's
it is
just
a
make
shake.
sure this.
Yeah, well, they identify all the stuff that's broke that they didn't really fix like they said they would, and then they go back and they do another kind of mini yard period next to the pier. So yeah, it was a crazy time, a very tragic event that I got to see very close hand, and then after that, spent I think it was like 4 more months on the George Washington, and then I got transferred to the John F. Kennedy, which was the opposite of the George Washington. George Washington was shiny and brand new. It was a very pretty ship. The John F. Kennedy was a diesel carrier, and it was a carrier that was in reserve status. And then because of what was going on, they brought it out of reserve status and just said, go to war with it.
Well, it doesn't surprise me.
And she wasn't in a good place.
I'm sure.
So, maintenance wise. Yeah, she needed a lot of help and a lot of love, but unfortunately, the time period couldn't give it the help and the love that she deserved.
Yeah,
and we took her out there ananyway, and we lost a couple guys on that boat because of maintenance issues. Yeah, we lost the pilot. He had what they call a cold cat. That's where the catapult didn't build enough steam, and they just basically didn't have enough push to launch him off fast enough. Yeah, went right in the drink. So. That was a different situation than what we had on the GW. So I was with her for I just one deployment. I was only down there for a year. That was down in Jacksonville, and then I got my follow-on final orders back here in Charleston at the Nuclear Power School as nuclear security. So that was where I did my quote-unquote twilight tour at the end of my 9 years, and sailed on out into Civlant, as we call it, and became part of this beautiful civilian organization we're all here a part of now.
Yeah, and you gotta love the civilian world. So while you were in doing port to ports, do you have you get any fun in the ports?
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. I had a lot of fun on the ports. I had a lot of interesting scenarios in the ports as being a dedicated husband at the time. I had a lot of drunken situations that occurred in ports. One that stands out the most is this place called Corfu, Greece. You guys ever heard of Corfu?
I have not.
It is an absolutely beautiful part of Greece. It's in the northern part. It's an island off the left coast of Greece, up towards Croatia. We actually went to Venice. Then we went to Dubrovnik, Croatia, and then we went to Corfu, Greece. It was kind of this trifecta of beautiful little areas. But we had been to sea for 43 days before we went to Corfu. And in the Navy, if you're out to sea for 45 days, you get a beer day. Well, I think our CO was like, no way in hell am I going to give 5,000 sailors 2 beers, because it's going to turn into 500 sailors with 50 beers. And they're going to be, you know, passed down the corner somewhere. And I can't operate my ship like that. So we pulled in on day 43. Now at that time, the ocean up there was a combat zone because of the situation with Bosnia and stuff like that. And so I reenlisted while I was there. And when I reenlisted, my rate had a very high reenlistment bonus, north of 40 grand. And
nice.
so it was tax free. And so I had been out to sea for 40 some odd days here, and I had all this money burning a hole in my bank account. And so we pulled into Corfu, and pretty much if you knew my name, you just got completely blitzed for free. I mean, it just got the whole world lit up. Anybody that was anywhere close to me, I busted out in an Irish accent to this Irish girl in a bar somewhere and made a complete ass out of myself.
I like that you've been doing accents for the entirety of your career.
I have. In fact, you know, funny story. My nieces and nephews call me the drunkle. And they know when it's time to leave is when I start going into accents. When I've been drinking at a family barbecue or whatever, they know if he starts talking with that Irish accent, it's time to go. We got to leave right now.
You're doing pretty good. I like that, man. If I start talking like Scooby Doo and Shaggy, then that's when you know I drink too much. Well, really?
But I do that. I do that a lot. It's something I love to do. But yeah. So, and if I get around somebody and I've been intoxicated and they've got some sort of accent, like I had a boss who had a Wisconsin accent, I get stuck in that one. A Massachusetts accent, I get stuck in that one.
Oh yeah.
But she has an Irish accent, so that's the one I get stuck in. Unfortunate that I made a ass out of myself. But the most interesting part of the story was, you know, in the Navy, when you go back to the ship after you've been drinking all day, you have to, you know, present your ID card and salute and say permission to come aboard. And you got to be able to do that on your own accord, right? Well, at this point, I was like a wet noodle. I mean, I had no legs. I couldn't do anything.
Oh, no.
So my first class, my E6, I'm a, you know, puke E4 at this point. He says, he grabs me and he walks me around the Liberty launch, because the carrier's out a little bit and you take a Liberty boat back and forth from the port to the carrier. So he's at the Liberty launch and he's walking me around the Liberty launch for 2 hours, sobering me up while I'm barfing and crying and telling him my life story and telling him how much I just want to go home and be with my wife and kids and all this stuff. This dude was a freaking saint to this day. His name Charlie Hill, FC1 Charlie Hill. Awesome guy. He saved me that night. He literally saved me that night. And he got me across the brow, got me into my bed, tucked me in all nice. Next day I saw him. I was like, FC1, I'm so sorry. God, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. He's like, no, dude, don't worry about it. Everybody has their moment. Everybody's got to have one.
I mean, I think everyone's gone through those drunken moments.
Yeah, where you just lose it. You just let it go. It's like you just let it all out, right? Because going over there, whether you're Navy or Army or Marines, whatever you're at, it sucks. Everybody's got their one.
And you know, we all have personal traumas from the past. And when you start drinking a lot,
oh yeah,
all those just flush up to the top, and you're just like,
I
remember this one time when I was 7.
Exactly.
And you're like, I don't know that this is the right particular time to talk about this, but here it comes. And you know,
it's the word vomit.
It just happens. Word vomit, and you just every life worst darkest secret comes out, and you're just like, I'm so sorry about this.
That was it. That's exactly what it was. And he got to hear all of it, so he knows all my secrets.
Yeah, there's always at least one person that gets that, you know.
Yeah,
I had a similar experience, but that's for another time.
Well, let's hope that whoever was part of those experiences keeping those secrets secret.
Very true.
Yeah, exactly. Most of people are drunk. Thank you. Yeah. So that was Greece. Went to Venice. Went to Turkey. Also, of course, we were in the Persian Gulf, to Bahrain and Dubai, to those areas, Italy, Spain, Canada, and of course, The other interesting one was Key West. Was actually a very interesting one. And the reason that one was so interesting was because our CO was about to leave. And when carrier COs leave, they're normally, getting ready to take on Admiral because they're full birds. They're big boys. Well, ours, who was an F-14 pilot, he was a fighter pilot. His name was Yank Rutherford, Captain Rutherford. He made Admiral. He was already Admiral Select before he left. So he basically said, we're going to Key West on St. Patty's Day weekend and spring break weekend. So basically, if you've been to Key West, it's not a very big place, right? But you throw spring breakers in there, that's a problem. You throw St. Patty's Day there, that's a bigger problem. Now you throw 5,000 sailors there.
Now you got a bunch of sailors there.
You just got a warhead of a time.
Oh, gosh.
So I wasn't as bad there as I was in Greece. But I did have, a good amount of fun there as well. Memorable time. Got to do some
I can't imagine.
stuff. Yeah.
Stuff and things.
Stuff
a lot
and
of stuff and things happen.
There's a lot of things that I can't talk about because there's some people that are still in the Navy that were part of it. So I don't want to discredit anybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. That's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're
well, maybe they should have made better life decisions.
Yeah, they should have got out.
So let's go ahead and hear it, and that's their fault.
No.
We're here to respect the active service members and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Maybe not.
And that's crazy too, right? To be now just turned 44 and have people that are still in.
That's crazy to think about, man. I don't.
Yeah.
I've got like three buddies that are still in. I'm just like, how do you do it?
And they're like, what? They've got to be like E7s, E8s.
Yeah.
Right? My buddy's an E9. I'm like, how are you an E9? You should not. How is that possible?
It's like I knew you when you were an E3 and you were a turd.
Exactly.
And how are you where you are now?
Either they molded you or they like saw something in you that I didn't see. I don't know.
TJ should be an E9.
Yeah, dude. All right, leave me out of this. All right. This isn't about me. Let's go back to your buddies that are still in that should have made better life decisions. All right?
No, they're good guys. In fact, this is huge kudos to my one good buddy. I'm not going to say his name, but he's still active. He's a Master Chief, and he is on the USS Eisenhower. So I've got a son, my youngest son. He's also in the Navy.
Awesome.
He's a bosun's mate. Well, he's not a bosun's mate. He's a striker, but he is going to be a bosun's mate on the Truman. And so the Truman's in the yards right now, and they send sailors over to other ships when they're in the yard so they can get training to do stuff. And they sent my son with a bunch of guys in his department to the Eisenhower while she was going out for a 2-week little adventure, whatever they do. They do circles in the water, launch the planes off the pointy end and catch them on the blood end. And so I called my buddy who's Master Chief and I said, hey man, my son's coming. I need you to indock him. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. He's like, yeah, I got him. I was like, sweet. He's gonna get all the good, haze and towel parties and all this stuff. But what ended up actually happening was my son was walking around looking for the berthing. He didn't know where berthing was. He got lost on the ship because they're configured differently. And he ran into a guy, a Master Chief, and he saw his name tag and he says, are you? And he goes, yeah. He goes, who? And then he looked at my son's name tag and he's like, oh, you're his son. And so they ended up talking and he actually said, look, as soon as you get some time, come back to my office. And he ended up like showing him. And this guy used to always take pictures when we were at port. He was like the picture guy because there's always a picture guy. But he still had all these pictures from, that deployment on the George Washington that we were together. And him and I were Liberty buddies. And he showed my son and told him all the stories about us when we were younger. And I think that was such a huge thing because my son has heard the stories from my side, but he's never actually heard anybody like confirm all those stories.
Yeah, verifying it and stuff.
Yeah, that was so cool. I mean, and my son came back with all these pictures. He gave him all the pictures and he had all these stories and he's like, man, that was really cool to hear it like that. And I was like, oh man, that was so cool. So I reached back out to my buddy. I was like, man, that was awesome. You probably made a lifer out of this guy.
Yeah, you probably did it right there in that one moment.
Exactly.
That's all it takes. It just takes one good moment. Well, the rest of us just had a lot of really crappy moments.
Yeah, and he's like a sopping wet E3, right? He's nobody, and this is a Master Chief that's kind of taking him under his wing, which doesn't happen. Well, maybe it happens now. This new Navy, but
I don't know. New military, who knows?
New military, yeah.
It's a newer, softer time.
It's a very, very different. We're gonna call it different. We're just gonna call it different.
Very empathetic.
Yeah, we're gonna call it different.
TJ's still in. He knows.
I recently just learned that word, and that's why.
Was that in the training?
Yeah, it was. PowerPoint class about it all, but so I just figured I'd throw that out there because I don't get the opportunity to use it very often.
Do you feel better about it?
I do, yeah.
I think he feels better anytime he gets.
I think you used it right too. I think you did. I don't know. I've never used it.
Close enough.
It's pretty close.
I don't know. I'll check the PowerPoints again. Figure it out.
Yeah, we got to do death by PowerPoint real quick. If you see TJ get distracted,
slide
because he's doing, he's just sitting there going through a slideshow. God, did I use that word right? Empathetic.
Not sympathetic, empathetic.
Yeah, there's a difference. Come on,
big difference.
Get together, guys.
Yeah, you get together.
This isn't the old school, And by the way, it's not hazing; that's training. Okay, so
it's remedial enhancement.
Right. That's what I always tried to call it, and then I got in trouble. They were like, "You're
calling it." Oh, for calling it training.
Yeah, I was like, "It's just training." I said, "I'm doing it with them. They may be in gas masks, but so am I." So,
well, at that point, it's not even hazing. Like that's just
that's extracurricular activity.
That's what I thought, and then I got written up for it. So,
yeah, you'll have that. Don't worry about that though.
Yeah, you know nothing about that though. You're squared away. You're locked away.
Right. Thank you.
I've always said that about TJ.
Yeah, I appreciate that. He's always said that. This one.
Oh, geez.
Oh, TJ froze.
Yeah. Well, what do you do? But anyway, we're talking about your kid, and
there
am I back? Am I alive?
Yeah, you're back. You're kind of back.
You're kind of back. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So that was a cool story. Going from that with having somebody take him under his wing, that was really cool.
That is super neat, and I love it because it kind of plays into like the DadBod thing, the DadBod Vet.
Oh yeah, that thing.
It really plays into that.
It does. It really does. It really does. It really does. It's In fact, he's not intentionally, but he is partially responsible for the inspiration behind it.
No kidding.
Behind the DadBod Vet. Yeah. You know that story?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
let's hear how he's become the DadBod Vet.
I don't know if you guys know, but I like to tell stories. So anyway, here we are last year, right? I'd been playing around on TikTok. I've been doing some stuff here. Nothing that was noteworthy at all. In fact, most of it I've taken off because it's just ridiculous, playing with filters, whatever.
Right.
And this whole time, my son, I knew that he was going to join the Navy. That was always kind of his plan. He was in ROTC. He knew that, but he played football. He knew that if he didn't get a college scholarship to play football, that he was going into the military and most likely the Navy. He talked about the Marines at one point. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Everything.
He's a physical specimen now, or at least he was. He might be a little bit beefier now that the Navy's got a hold of him, but he was a specimen when he was in high school. But anyway, so he is the last of between me and my girlfriend, we have 5 kids. He's the last of 5 kids, right? He's the baby. And when he went to the recruiter's office, you guys aren't going to like to hear this, but they had a program where basically anyone who enlisted at a certain and went out to boot camp during a certain period got a $25K sign-on bonus. Doesn't matter what your job was. Doesn't matter.
Man.
You could be a toilet jockey. Doesn't matter. $25K.
Yeah, I'd be a toilet jockey for $25K.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I was like, $25K, I got 3. So
you guys got a bonus?
Well, we were one of those jobs, one of those high-tech jobs that, where people never actually stayed in, etc. It was, yeah.
For joining?
For joining. Yeah, for joining. We were $3K for join. So he goes to the recruiter's office. Recruiter's like, yeah, you can get that program, but there's no slots available. Sorry, you're not going to qualify. He was like, oh, crap. Okay, fine. I'll wait till August. I'll have my summer. I'll go do, my last summer home, etc. And I was like, cool. Okay, August. Now I can mentally prepare to be an empty nester, right? And so we're going through the weeks, or we're going through a week, right? And he gets a call on a Sunday from the recruiter, and the recruiter basically says, "Hey, you can go. It might be next Wednesday, it might be this Wednesday, but you can go." And he was like, "Cool." So he warmed me up. He's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to be leaving sooner than we thought." And I was like, "Oh, how soon are we talking?" He's like, "It's probably going to be next week. I'm just waiting for the recruiter to call me back." So this was on a Monday, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna emotionally prepare myself. We're gonna do this. So then on Monday afternoon, after the recruiter calls him back, he calls me and he says, I'm leaving. I'm like, okay, what do you mean you're leaving? I'm leaving Wednesday morning. I'm like, what? You're leaving Wednesday morning? So I'm like, I can't. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you no, it's your life, but I was a little messed up.
Right.
And so we got him all ready. We had dinner with his mom and all this stuff at Waffle House. Waffle House was where he had his last meal.
How awesome is that?
Oh man, we go to Waffle House for everything. Birthdays.
That's just very American,
It's so Waffle House is the best place on earth. I actually had Waffle House takeout last night.
Yeah, I'm jealous because I don't got a Waffle House anymore. And I would love a Waffle House more than anything.
Do you guys not have Waffle Houses there?
No, man, it's terrible.
I've got like 3 within 2 miles.
I wish.
We got Waffle Houses. Waffle House is kind of like Dollar Generals. They just pop up in random places.
Yeah, and they're always open, and they're the best place ever.
Apparently not in Nebraska. I need to find one.
Yeah, you should call Atlanta and say, "Hey, man, we need some Waffle Houses out here."
Waffle Houses right now.
So yeah, exactly. So so then I was pretty busted up. We take him to the recruiter's office, because that's where he's going to catch his bus off to MEPS, etc. And we're all in the parking lot hugging and stuff like that. And I was the next to the last hug, and we were all emotional. His last hug happened to be his boy, which I was pissed about, that he let his boy be his last hug, his boy from high school. But then I was like, okay, cool, I'll walk you in. And he's like, no, I got this. I'm like, what do you mean you got this? What do you mean you got this? I've been with you this whole time. You're going to leave me here in the parking lot and you're just going to do it on your own? What's that about? Like, it was that moment where he became a man.
Yeah, it's like he grew up and
he literally in that moment, boom, he's a man and he's not mine anymore. I'm like, oh my God, it hit. That was real. That made it real.
You might got this, but I don't, so I'm walking you in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I wasn't doing this for you.
This wasn't about you to begin with.
Yeah, I think I need to talk to a recruiter. I need to know what's going to happen and blah blah blah. He's like, no, you don't need to know anything. I got this. It's like, oh my God.
It's like,
no. So I was busted.
Deal with this?
I was busted. So so I went home and I was like empty nest syndrome on steroids for the next couple weeks. And so I was in a bad place, I was in a really bad place. And so I had to try to figure out what am I going to do with the rest of my life, because I had been a dad since, I was in boot camp, right? I've been dad since the age of 18. I didn't know a life without being a dad. And I had to kind of shift my mindset to focus on what the next part of my life is hopefully going to be, right? It's obviously going to be, I'm going to have a lot more time to myself. That's the first thing. But it's also going to be focusing on the future things that hopefully could happen. And that, the biggest thing for me was going to be grandkids. I was like, I'm going to have grandkids one day. Cool. And so that's where the DadBod Veteran actually came from. Was I recorded one TikTok of me doing a stitch with this guy asking what they did for pizza delivery before they had GPS. And I did it like I was talking to my grandson, telling him the story of what life was like back then. And that's always been the persona that the DadBod Veteran has used, is like he's talking to a little kid and trying to tell him the stories of how life was in the days before, right? Because I would say in the days before.
Yeah.
And it's all my son's fault. I blame myself.
Well, you can't be mad about it because it's really worked out, man.
No, it's worked out awesome. It's awesome, and it's so much fun, and it's taken on a new life. But everybody asked me, like, why don't you use your real voice? Because I can't. Because
it's so hard.
I'm not him. I'm literally not him. He is, and I know it sounds schizophrenic, but I'm not him. Right? He is a completely different person, and he has his own dialect, and he has his own way of thinking, and he's a lot slower, and he's a lot more deliberate about everything he says, and it's all purposeful with the intent of being the wise sage that passes on knowledge to the next generation. And I'm not that guy.
It's like the acting thing that comes with it. Because I've had one TikTok that went like semi-popular. So like I can't be. I'm not cool like you, but I've got one. I've got one that went pretty cool.
You will be.
It was the dad truck video that I did. And my wife's like, "Why are you talking like a redneck?" And I was like, "Because that's who I am to the outside world."
Right.
Yeah. Like I'm not. Oh, this is super cool. Check this out.
Whoa, what's up, Japan? How you doing, man?
How awesome is that? That's super cool.
Awesome. Man. Thanks, man.
But wow. Yeah, you have like a persona that you put on, and it's because that's not who we are day to day.
Right.
You don't want to be that person day to day. It'd be exhausting.
It would be very exhausting. Because maybe TikTok's so slow.
Maybe I did it wrong because all my TikTok videos were definitely just me being hillbilly, and
they worked. He sends me this video, his first TikTok video. He sends me this video of him like fixing his yellow car or his little yellow car, and I was like, "Why do you not have this on TikTok?"
Yeah, that's the other part. Is like there's a lot of people on TikTok that just want to see life. I don't know why. That's weird voyeuristic stuff, but there's a lot of huge, way bigger than me TikTokers that are just doing life, right? Like fixing stuff or two of my favorites are God, I can't remember his name. He's a 40-year-old dad, and he always reacts to something like, there ain't no way I've been 40 years I've been able to do this.
Yeah,
and
that's why
shows you how to do something. Yeah, him or the Canadian guy.
No
way.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. Yeah, that guy.
I love that guy.
Love him.
I need to get his hat. So I really do.
Exactly. See, and it's two different ways, right? There's the people that are imitating life and playing out life in real life, or there's people like me, they're storytellers and actors, etc. Either way works. I mean, it works for a lot of people. So
yeah, it really does.
It's just about the niche of you doing something that is easy for you to do, and then having an audience of people that react positively to that or negatively. Some people get popular off negative stuff too.
But you know what they say, man. Even negative publicity is publicity.
Yeah, any publicity is good publicity, right?
That's what they say, I guess. I'm not a fan of the negative publicity.
Yeah, but here I am. Yeah, I take what I can get at this point in my life.
Well, this is where I kind of learned that normal things to me aren't normal things to normal people.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that you're probably exposed to and you're doing that no one has ever done.
Yeah, I can just film it and feel like, oh my God, that's so crazy. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not really that crazy.
There's a lot of people that film farming. They film farming in action, like driving a tractor. They'll do live streams while they're driving a tractor, and they'll have like 500 people watching it. Them drive a tractor.
And you're just like,
people still drive tractors.
It's crazy. TikTok is a crazy thing.
We ended that with the Civil War.
We haven't done that since.
Maybe you should research your history a little bit.
Yeah.
No, well, let's not. Let's just not and say we did on that one.
Yeah, let's not.
But geez, so you've got the great persona thing going. You've got, and you just tell people kind of how it used to be, right? Like that's kind of what it is.
It started out as a bunch of stories. If you go to the older stuff, and there's a couple little catalog files, or what do they call them, playlists on my TikTok profile, and you can go see the really, really old stuff. That was a lot more storytelling at that point. It's now adapted to I almost want to call it like an intervention, right? He's doing interventions on things that are being either portrayed on the internet that we see, or people seeing stuff and giving them kind of a reaction of the way it was before, and why this is not probably the most ideal way to do it. And I always try to do it in a I never try to insult whoever made the video, right? I'm very sensitive to that. I want to try to be as positive as possible on the outcome, right? I like to try to give credit where I think the system is broken. A lot of the times it's the education system that I like to poke at. But it's never meant to be, slanderous to anybody, because I know that even if somebody was doing it as a parody, they weren't doing it for the point of trying to give negative attention, right? I'm never gonna do those guys. Like, there's a guy right now that's eating gummy bears after he pulled them out of his butt cheeks, and he's going viral. And so many people have tagged me on it. They're like, react to this guy who farts on gummy bears and eats them. I'm like, no, I'm not going to touch that. Yeah, that's he's gone to a place that I don't want to be. Right.
That's because you are a very empathetic individual.
I don't know if that's the right way to use it. But
whatever. It's twice now. I've used it.
We'll take it.
It counts.
We should have a counter every time you use empathetic.
We should. We'll throw it up in the corner. It'll just be like 1, 2, ding. And then it'll be the word of the day anytime somebody uses it the next show.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
Where the chair will start going crazy and stuff.
But the other one that's been fun is like the reactions of seeing these kids do Gen X stuff. That's been the newest thing that I've loved to do, right? So we had a kid who was in a tire, and he was about to roll down the driveway, and mom like runs up to him and is like, nope, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt. Don't do it. Oh, okay. I guess, whatever. And I did that one, and that one kind of blew up a little bit. And actually the mom was like, she was so flattered that I did it. Her and I have become kind of little friends on Instagram and
how cool is that?
TikTok. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool.
Insta homies.
Yeah, she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, that's so cool. You guys are so awesome that you're letting your kid play in a tire.
Yeah.
Like, who would do that anymore? And
yeah, it just seems like we're far and few away from like the days that it used to be where, kids can be kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Like and that's what I said. I was like, Mom, don't film it. I said in the video, I said, Mom, don't film it, because that could be premeditated child abuse these days. I mean, because honestly, it could. But no, it's been really cool to see these kids. Like, there's another one I've got in my queue that I'm working on right now. It has something to do with a lizard, and a lizard being worn as jewelry. You may see that one in the next day or so. But that was stuff that we used to do, right?
I know. Yeah.
And that was okay. And it's still okay, right? It's not these things that these kids are doing that are out there being adventurous and living their lives. There's nothing wrong with it, man.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a great question for you. This just in from.
What was the development of the accent? Almost Old English. Okay. So MC 1961. That's a great question. There are so many things in the DadBod's accent. There's so many people. Of course, there's obviously Gandalf, right? There's obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi, the original Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's a little bit of Ron Burgundy in there at times. There's some Sean Connery in there, right? Yes. There's a couple other people I just can't remember who I put in there, but probably the biggest one that has the influence on the storytelling part of it is Delios from 300. You guys remember that character?
Yeah.
He was the storyteller from 300.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Delios.
Yeah, tracking.
That's probably my biggest attempt to try to go towards him. Now there's a little bit of Thor in there too, but Delios is probably my biggest influence on the storytelling aspect and the accent that I try to copy. Obviously, my accents aren't perfect, and so I don't ever claim to be one individual. They're just a bunch of guys put together. So that's where he came from, and obviously it's stuck. So we're gonna keep rolling.
It's been incredible.
What would you describe the accent as? Like what it actually is? Is it like
it's a mutt.
It's
a mutt.
It's a mix.
It's an Old English, a little bit of Australian, a little bit of South African. It's a mutt. It does not have a proper home.
It does not.
It does not have a proper home.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because you gotta, it makes you unique. It makes you you.
Yeah, and it's so many people think it's real, and I love it. I think Brilliant choices. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
You're so good
brilliant.
at a fake accent that people think that's you.
I know. Well, there's been people that have like called me out and they're like really aggressive about it too. They're like, "Why are you doing that bullshit accent?" I'm like, "Guys, come on, guys,
stop it."
No,
my wife asked me. She's like, "Where's he from?" And I was like, "South Carolina."
Yeah, it's like
she's like, "Well, shouldn't he sound like you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we just don't ask questions."
I can
it's TikTok.
I can sound like that. I can sound like a South Carolinian when I need to. Especially a Charlestonian. They've got their own different breed of accent. No, but oh my god, that guy.
He's
don't pay
famous.
attention. Don't pay attention to that guy. That's my Call of Duty buddy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
dangerous. His name is Dangerously Moist on Call of Duty. So if you guys want to go,
I'm writing this stuff down. This is happening.
Yeah, he's getting
get together.
He's getting friend requested.
Good bunch of friends requests. Dangerously Moist. Go after him.
I've got you written down. I've got him written down. This is happening.
Hey, he's a good Overwatch. He is not a very good rusher. Okay.
That's all I do is rush.
You're a rusher. See, I'm like a half C. Depends on who I'm playing with.
I'll rush, but like I'm not good at any of it. So
yeah, my son is wicked at Call of Duty. He is absolutely wicked. Oh my god. He just like he'll kill a whole 6-pack and just walk away smiling. He's just awesome.
We've got a guy we play with like that, and I'm just like,
how he does it.
How do you do that, man?
How do you do that? You like go in there with no fear. Like, I'm scared. I know it's a video game, but I'm scared. I'm scared.
What are you, silly? I'm still going to send it.
I've gotten good at sniping, so that's kind of my game.
Oh, geez.
JW, that's your workplace wife. Oh, I think I know who you are. Yeah, that's the missus. She's talking about Steve, Dangerously Moist. Him and I used to work together. He was my workplace wife. In fact, there is a TikTok where I explain my workplace wife.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find all these, man, because I'm just loving going.
I think I have like 600 or 700 now.
Yeah, it's just hard to get through all of them. I've just been like,
so I mean, if you just want
to,
make yourself you need to just draw yourself a warm bath, get yourself a bottle of wine,
light some candles,
grab your phone, get some candles, some lavender Epsom salt, and just watch.
See, I think I could do that.
Just treat yourself.
I think I could do that just listening to your voice. I really do. I think
we could do ASMR. I can just do that.
If you could just.
Hey, we learned this last night that we need to get our microphones a lot closer to our faces.
Yes, because
I actually bought a boom last night so that I can sit there and have my mic like right.
Oh yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah, we got a boom. Yeah, we're all on a boom right here.
But no, I don't have a boom. My boom's my arm right now. So
you just have to talk very softly.
We're not boomers yet, and we're working on it.
You'll get there.
We're not boomers, but we'll be there. I've got mine should be here like in 2 days, and I'm really excited about it.
This is like the second time I've used it, so I appreciate it.
This is from Mr. Lawson Mullins, but it just says Facebook user because.
Am I afraid of TikTok? No, because everybody already has our stuff. If you've got in my opinion, this is my opinion. This is not any type of public opinion. This is not representative of any particular company. I just want to put that disclaimer out there.
Good job.
As soon as you guys signed up for a credit card, I believe all of your stuff has already been put out there.
It's gone. Yeah,
I think it's gone. I think you should. I think we're gonna after the show we can talk to you about being our legal advisor
to put disclaimers out there.
Yeah, because we're terrible at disclaiming anything.
Yeah,
I think we've got one episode though. We did a pretty good job. We were like, hey, disclaimer. Anything we say, probably do like the opposite of.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're talking about giving advice. I'm like, so we're just gonna say like, this is pretty much our opinion of what I would do, and if you want to follow that as advice, go ahead, but it's probably not going to work out too great for you because look at where I'm at, But,
it's like based off my life,
And the other part is I'm a social media influencer, so I am kind of putting it out there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that's the risk you take when you play this game is that your stuff's going to be put out there.
Right.
Luckily, nobody in my hometown has recognized me.
No kidding.
Yeah. Actually, okay. So there was this one time I was with Steve. We were in a restaurant here locally, and somebody said, "That's the DB veteran," and he heard it, but I didn't hear it. And the person that obviously didn't come up to me. I was like, Steve, where are they? I want to go say hi to them. I want to go say hi. Somebody recognized me because I thought it was cool. It's like,
yeah, that's so neat.
Recognized for anything.
You guys were doing like an anniversary dinner, or like?
Yeah, me and Steve. Yeah, it was our 3-year workplace wife anniversary.
We
were with our spouses too.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I'm trying to just take TJ out.
Right.
Yeah. We figured we should drag him along, you know.
It's just ridiculous. But yeah, no, I love what you've been doing. It's been super fun to see. It's been fun to see the reaction. I mean, honestly, what's that been like for you to kind of be like, I just started out doing this probably as something, for fun, and then like it takes this on this whole nother life. Like, what's that mean to you to have people that love what you do?
It's huge. It's absolutely 100% huge. I get so many direct messages of people that, say like they're having a really hard day or they've just having a really bad time, but then they see my videos in the morning and it just makes their day. That's huge. I mean, it's not what it's all about, but it's become what it's all about, right? Is making people happy and getting people's reaction to it and getting the positive feedback. I have very little negative feedback, and I'm very thankful for that. So obviously I'm not rubbing anybody. What's up, man? Thank you. I appreciate that.
This is what I appreciate. I hope this reaches out to me too.
Yeah, it's free tacos for life. That's awesome. That's awesome. Tacos are my favorite thing. I could eat tacos every day. Yeah, so I just might go down to San Antonio just for that.
I hope that extends to me too, because
the missus goes to San Antonio for work, so maybe we'll go out there.
For free tacos, I'll go to San Antonio a lot.
That's what I'm saying. I go.
You guys are way closer, so maybe you guys should give him free tacos. But no, it's huge. It's awesome. It's what feeds it. Because honestly, if I didn't get the feedback, I might be less inclined to do it as often as I do. But because I get the positive feedback, and now it's to the point where people are actually sending me content to do, right, to stitch and react.
God, how cool is that?
It's so crazy. And I have a whole new respect for influencers, because those guys that are the really big guys, that are, the million accounts and plus, the amount of work that goes into these videos is a lot, right? There's a lot of editing. There's a lot of, revising and checking and doing all this work. There's a lot to it. And then there's the part about maintaining your fan base and keeping connected with everybody. I can never hit all my comments, and I'm only a 650 guy. I couldn't imagine what it would be like if I was a million or a 5 million guy trying to, keep connected with your fan base. That would be impossible unless they farm it out to somebody else, right? Because I don't have a staff like some of these guys do, but it's huge. It's a big deal. And then what's probably the craziest is that you can actually make a living doing this.
Yeah, how insane is that?
That's insane. Especially from, like the childhood that we grew up in, where you had to work a 9-to-5 job and that was the only way, right? There was no other way. The fact that the kids can make money off of this and have an actual living off of this and be very prosperous off of this is insane. So it's an amazing thing. And I'm very fortunate, very blessed, and I'm very glad that I've had the opportunity to do this, and I'm going to keep doing it as long as the world lets me do it. And that's kind of, this is the plan. I love doing these too.
That's so awesome, man. I love it. That being said, before we kick you out of here, because I know you've got things you want to do.
I got a Call of Duty date in about 5 minutes.
Let's talk mental health real quick, because we're technically a mental health podcast.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I always forget that, but
smiling is mental health too.
Yeah, exactly. I try to smile a lot. I actually stink at it, but here I am. How has this helped you with dealing with anything mental health wise? Because you probably, I don't know, you've got a lot. Losing your dad when you did and everything that comes with that. It had to have been tough. So does all this help you?
Oh yeah, this is huge. I mean, I have thought about going towards some of my other traumas. I haven't had the cojones to do it yet.
Right.
Just because there's triggers, especially like my dad and stuff, like there's triggers that I can't deal with still yet. But this has helped a significant amount, especially for like my most recent traumas of being an empty nester and things like that. This is very therapeutic for me to be able to do this. This is very therapeutic to get the positive feedback from people. It's very therapeutic to engage with people, because that's the other part is, you know, I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't engage with as many people as I used to. And this is an outlet to do that. And there's a lot of people that I'll get into conversations with on DMs about what's going on in their life and, you know, how this is helping them. And then, you know, we kind of talk about my life a little bit sometimes. And, you know, draw the resemblances between how these positive connections can be therapeutic for people. And I think that there's a huge missed opportunity in the social media world to highlight how this positivity can help people that are struggling. There's a lot of focus on the struggle itself, but I think there's a little bit of a missed opportunity on focusing on keeping the positive to help those people as well. So hopefully other influencers can start doing that, especially the big guys. That would be awesome, because in my opinion, you know, happiness breeds happiness, right?
Yeah,
it's
I absolutely agree.
It's very hard to not smile when people are smiling around you. I mean, yeah,
it's like yawning, right? If you yawn, then everybody that sees you. Yeah, it's just
like my dog yawns when I yawn. It's crazy. But yeah, so I think that's one opportunity that we need to take advantage of, right?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. Yeah, and I love seeing you have such an impact, and with the veteran community, with things being how they are right now with suicide and everything, it's so great to see somebody like you out there sharing so much positivity, which is what I really appreciate about everything you do. Is you're so positive, and like you said, you don't make things like an attack on somebody. You just make it a fun story.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It really does. It just brightens my day. Like,
yeah, 100%. And for me, like, I just love the fact that, like, that you are just such an empathetic person, you know, and
that's three. That's three.
Well, but also like is to see, there we go. But just to see the success that you've had, you know, and it wasn't like you didn't have to go to college for 4 years to learn how to do this. It's just something that you decided to do one day and did it. And now you have a pretty massive following, and just out of nowhere, just something that you put yourself out there and you did it. And now here you are, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. Oh, that's old Miss Bailey. Love you too, Leslie.
We're out here to get everyone in there. You know, we just got to squeeze everyone in before you get out there, and you know.
Are you two like kind of in a competition with each other? You and Leslie for
Steven?
Yeah.
No, there's no competition. Sorry, Leslie. There's no competition. She knows it.
I'm so glad that, you know, it's out there, and now we've squashed it. It's done.
Yeah. Now everybody knows who my work wife is. It's Steven.
Yeah. And we appreciate that so much. But
yeah, and by the way, if you use empathetic 2 more times, you get a free soda at McDonald's. So
yeah, I've heard that. I think
What?
Yeah, there's a punch card, empathetic punch card.
Yeah, they've got one of those. I've heard recently, anyway.
Where do I get my empathetic punch card? Does that count for one time? Because I said it.
Yeah, that's
no. Because you're just talking about the card.
Oh yeah.
But I used the word.
You have to use it properly in a sentence.
Oh my god! I can't throw this one out there.
God.
No,
it's great, man. I love it.
No, I appreciate it too, man.
I appreciate everybody who makes this possible for me, and who supports and does all the awesome things and interacts with me. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and that's what we love to see, man, is everyone that's out there interacting. We just want to keep building the family and the legacy and everything around getting people to work together. And
and that's the other part, right? I now have 600 plus videos that if something happens to me today, my grandkids can watch it and they can hear me say those stories. That's the jewel.
And then they'll share that with their kids, and they'll be like, "My grandpa talked like a weirdo."
This is your great grandpa.
Yeah, and they'll be like,
"Why does he sound? Is that what they talked like back then?"
Yeah. That's what I hope. That's what I hope for you,
That's
man.
what I hope for. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
People back in 2023 sounded like this. That's so weird.
That was back in the 20th century?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me right now?
He was born in the 1900s.
How old would he be now? Like 130?
He was in the 1900s?
Wow. We live in that time now anyway, man.
I know
already
we do.
live in that time. How crazy
do you
is
know
that?
Do you know that God, I did a TikTok on it.
Thank you,
Pearl
Steve.
Harbor.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, that Pearl Harbor is closer to the 80s, or excuse me, today is closer to the 80s than Pearl Harbor is.
Which is wild.
Wait, it's backwards. It's the other way. Pearl Harbor is closer to the 80s than today is.
Either way you think about it, it's just nuts.
Yeah,
it's like anytime somebody's like 20 years ago, I'm like, yeah, 1980.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
I still do that.
Like no. That's
like,
40 years. That's 40 plus years ago.
It's insane to think about, but it's yeah. I mean, it's weird because like the kid ahead of me at the line to get a beer yesterday was like, yeah, I was born 2001. I was like, what?
You can buy beer?
I was like, what?
You're not in diapers?
Yeah, I was like, how is this happening right now?
Don't worry, kid. I won't tell your parents that you're drinking with me.
But here's the better part, right? We're all, late 30s, 40s. I'm not going to judge you guys. I'm going to say you guys are early 30s.
Yeah.
Looking at you. So
it's because I shave.
Think about the way that we look and the way that we act and the way that we are compared to what we thought our parents were.
Yeah. No, see, that blows my mind every time I think about that.
Yeah. Like I don't think that I'm any older than 21. Yeah. Honestly.
I told my dad about this the other day. I was like, you know what? I'm very impressed with the way you handled yourself as I was a younger man.
They were they were adults.
Yeah. I'm like, I expected me to be, act and feel the way that I saw you.
Right. Very
back
prestigious,
then.
very regal, very just authoritative presence.
Not very empathetic, but
you got it. There you go. One more.
But the rest of it, they were nailing it.
There's going to be confetti that's going to shoot up when you hit your fifth one.
Yeah, I wish I had more like background stuff.
I mean, yeah, we could have some like fireworks or something, man.
No, that'd be so good.
Listen, McDonald's, I'm heading your way.
You got to get that. You got to get that cue board. What do they call those things? The podcast cue boards.
Yeah,
so you know your sounds and your.
I used to have one on Riverside. I need to buy a new one or something. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Get all those.
Remember for your next one. It's fine.
Yeah, we need like an IT guy and also like a PR guy or whatever.
Yeah. Once you make the money, once the money comes rolling, and then
we'll get there.
Don't do it first. Don't do them first, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that's how this works. Spend money, then the following comes.
You gotta take some money to make money, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
But no, so we always wrap up the episode and we ask what you took from today's show. I know you've got a date and you're 3 minutes late.
I'm fine. So he'll be fine. Yeah, what did I take from today's show? First of all, meeting you awesome guys again and having this nice conversation with you. That's what I took away, is that there's more awesome people, more awesome veterans out there that are capable of having great conversations with people and laughing and enjoying, but yet having a moment of seriousness as well. That's what I take away from this. I take away from there's a whole world of people out there. Now I've got somebody from Japan. That's the first.
Yeah, how cool
that are actually seeing this. I've seen Australia, I've seen Norway, Sweden, Finland, UK, all those, but I've never seen Japan. So that's an absolute first. That's awesome. So obviously, this is a real worldwide thing. And that's scary sometimes to me. It really is, because it's my front porch in South Carolina, right? That's it. So that's real. That's real to me. I'm not a big guy. I'm not anybody special. I'll tell you, I say this on every podcast. I'm no one special. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else does. And anybody who wants to be this can be this too. Right. And that's the beauty of this situation that we live in the current technology world, is if you're going to be a influencer with 600,000 followers, then you can do that. You can spend the time and do the effort, and it's possible. So yeah. And this has been awesome. This has been really, really cool. And I really appreciate it.
Whoops. Went too soon. You're out here teaching, man.
Hey,
and that's awesome.
Go for it. Go for it. Yeah. The only way to get to your vision is to step. You got to take one step.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you stand still, I promise you're not going to fail, but you're not going to win either.
Yeah. What is that? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Michael Jordan missed a whole lot more shots than he made.
Exactly.
Yep.
So you just got to do it. Just do it. Just start today.
Well, I just want you to know that I think you're a very special person.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say I think you're very special.
That's very
you're an incredible. Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing. No, that was mine.
He took the fifth from you.
Goes on my punch card.
Yeah, he gets.
We'll have a conversation after this.
He's like, model.
Yep. Yeah. No, right, guys, I appreciate
we'll do this later.
TJ, what'd you take from today?
Well, like I always say, just don't be a lint licker. And if someone is having issues and they reach out to you, just try to be more of an empathetic person and try to just put yourself in their shoes. There's sometimes you might not think it's a big deal, but it is to them, so you might be the one to change their mind if they are in a bad situation, thinking about doing something harmful to themselves.
I like that. I took out today that everything in the world there's still some good in the world, and that's what I really appreciate. We've got guys out there sharing some laughs and some humor and really dealing with even their hard times and out there doing things with their life and making the veteran community bigger, stronger, better. And I appreciate that. John, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
The DadBod Veteran. There is only one, the DadBod Veteran. There are a lot of imitators out there right now, but it's got to have the parentheses on it. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. All of them, the DadBod Veteran.
Meanwhile, my dog's he's like, yeah, I love that guy. If you didn't hear him. So yeah, we appreciate it, man. It's been awesome having you on. We'll let you get off and go do your Call of Duty date, because we understand the importance of that and everything that comes with that. Everyone can find us on YouTube. If you're watching now, you found it, so congrats. If not, we are Shadow Mark Podcast. There, we are Shadow Mark Podcast on Instagram, which I'm still trying to work on, like being a little bit more studious of watching and paying attention to. We're on Facebook's Shadow Mark Society of Misfits. We're just really wanting to build a family, and you guys always have somewhere to share your input and your everything that you need. So you've got friends, you've got family. If you're ever feeling down, reach out to somebody in the group, reach out to one of us. I'm always here. TJ's always there. Yep. We're going to get you guys set up with somebody that can take care of you and make sure you're okay. So
no matter where you're at.
Yep. No matter where you're at, we're going to get you taken care of the best we can. So that being said, John, thank you for coming on tonight, man.
Thank you, guys.
It's been incredible. I mean, it really has.
Man. Appreciate it, brother.
I loved it. That being said, we'll wrap up tonight. Hit us up, give us a like, give us a share, give the DadBod a like, give him a share, give him a review. Let him know how cool he is.
Tell your friends about us.
Yeah.
Tell them to review us.
So that being said, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming on tonight. And until next time, we're out of here, guys.